What happens when the world's most promising vocal powerhouse realizes her multi-million-dollar record deal is actually a golden cage? Tonight, we're investigating the calculated and quiet exit of Angelina Jordan from the major label system, a move that has sent shockwaves through the executive offices of the music industry in 2026. For years, the narrative was simple: a young prodigy signed to Republic Records, the same home as Taylor Swift and Drake, destined for global pop domination. But behind the scenes, a high-stakes battle for creative sovereignty was brewing. Sources close to the singer suggest that as Angelina matured, the label's vision for her brand began to clash with her own deeply held principles. While the public saw a rising star, the internal reality was a growing rift over her signature Barefoot image and her refusal to pivot into a manufactured pop aesthetic. This wasn't just a disagreement over style, it was a fundamental conflict over the soul of her music. Reports indicate that in late 2024, Angelina made the historic decision to decline a lucrative contract renewal, effectively choosing a path of total independence. This quiet exit was followed by a brief period of media silence that many mistook for a career stall, but as we now know, it was the calm before an unprecedented creative storm. Tonight, we peel back the layers of this corporate divorce to reveal how one young woman outmaneuvered the most powerful men in Hollywood to buy back her own freedom. It is a story of integrity over income, and as our investigation shows, the financial risk she took is already paying off in ways the industry never thought possible for an independent artist. In a world where labels often own an artist's name, likeness, and social media passwords, Angelina's departure was seen as a radical act of defiance. Insider leaks suggest that the final straw involved a series of demos she produced privately, raw, jazz-heavy tracks that the label allegedly refused to release, fearing they wouldn't perform well on TikTok-centric algorithms. This refusal to let her grow as an artist led to a tense standoff where the singer was effectively shelved for months. Rather than fading into obscurity, Angelina used that time to build her own infrastructure, assembling a small team of loyalists and lawyers who could facilitate her break from the corporate machine. By the time the industry realized she was gone, she had already secured the rights to her most valuable asset, her voice. This transition marks the end of an era for major labels and the beginning of a new chapter where the artist holds all the cards, forcing the industry to rethink how they manage talent that refuses to be tamed. The industry called it a career gamble, but Angelina Jordan called it the secret, and the numbers coming in for 2026 suggest she was right all along. Following her departure from the corporate system, Angelina didn't just release a single. She flooded the market with an independent trilogy that proved major labels are no longer the gatekeepers of success. In 2025, she dropped Secret of the Soul, followed closely by Secret of the Star and Secret of Love. By releasing these projects through her own entity, MOSARZ LLC, she bypassed the traditional 80-20 split that favors labels, retaining nearly all of her earnings and, more importantly, her master recordings. This move allowed her to implement a revolutionary acoustic grounding philosophy, recording in raw, natural environments that captured the haunting jazz frequencies her previous handlers allegedly tried to polish away. Our financial analysis indicates that while her streaming numbers are massive, it's her physical sales and direct-to-fan engagement that have made her a self-made mogul. However, this rise to power wasn't without its obstacles. As she began her independent ascent, a series of technical landmines appeared. News broke of a legal dispute with NRK in Norway involving a $13,000 claim, a sum that is pocket change for a star of her caliber, yet it was used in headlines to suggest her management was in disarray. Our investigation found that this dispute was actually a minor contractual misunderstanding from her Melody Grand Prix era, which she quickly resolved, but the timing of the news leak suggests an attempt to shadow her independent success. Despite these efforts to frame her as difficult or unprotected, Angelina's secret era has become a masterclass in creative sovereignty. The trilogy didn't just showcase her range, it proved that her audience was willing to follow her to any platform, regardless of whether a major label was putting a marketing budget behind it. We've also uncovered that she intentionally priced her merchandise and vinyl records to be accessible to her younger fans, while simultaneously hosting high-end, secret listening parties for her most dedicated supporters. This dual approach to marketing, balancing mass appeal with extreme exclusivity, has allowed her to outpace label-backed artists in net profit per stream. In 2026, her autonomy is her greatest asset, allowing her to release music at her own pace and maintain a direct line of communication with millions of fans without a corporate filter. The Secret isn't just an album title, it's her strategy for surviving an industry that often chews up young talent and spits it out when the trends change. While the world watched the headlines, Angelina Jordan took the stage in Las Vegas under a total media blackout that left fans wondering what she was really trying to hide or protect. Her January 2026 residency at the Westgate International Theater was one of the most anticipated events of the year, yet it was shrouded in a strict, no-recording policy that is almost unheard of in the digital age. Rumors swirled that this was a reaction to security threats or a way to hide a vocal decline, but our sources tell a different story. This was a strategic move to ensure that her new era remained exclusive to those who supported her independence. By controlling the narrative and the footage, Angelina ensured that her live performances remained a sacred, uncommoditized experience. This level of control is exactly what her former label fought against. Today in mid-2026, she's no longer just a prodigy who stunned Simon Cowell. She is a master of her own financial and creative empire. She has proven that an artist can walk away from the biggest labels in the world, face down legal accusations in their home country, and emerge not just intact but more powerful than ever. Her story serves as a chilling warning to the corporate music machine. The era of owning an artist's identity is coming to an end. As our team analyzed the fan reactions from the Westgate residency, a pattern emerged. This wasn't a standard concert, it was an emotional homecoming. Fans reported that the show featured raw, unedited stories about her struggle for freedom, with Angelina speaking candidly about the dark days of being silenced by contracts. This vulnerability has only deepened her connection with her audience, creating a brand loyalty that no amount of label money can buy. Furthermore, the $13,000 legal issue in Norway, which many predicted would be her undoing, has been fully settled, with Angelina's team turning the narrative into one of reclaiming her roots. She has successfully recontextualized every challenge into a victory. As she prepares for the next leg of her global legacy tour and looks toward the 2027 awards season, the music industry is watching her every move with a mix of fear and admiration. Angelina Jordan didn't just leave a record label, she left a legacy of rebellion that will inspire the next generation to keep their shoes off and their voices high. The truth is finally out, and the music industry will never be the same again, as the power has finally shifted back to the one person who matters most, the artist.